Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am so happy that you all were able to come along and join us for this very special general body meeting. My name is Courtney Pomeran, and I am the chapter president for American Military University, American Public University System, National Society of Collegiate Scholars. Today we are going to discuss a couple of events that's going on with the chapter, but first I wanted to go ahead and start our presentation. So give me just one moment to get the presentation going. All right, thank you all for being here. And today's agenda, we'll be doing an officer member induction or introductions. Our special guest, Jen Castillo of NSCS, she's a senior manager for scholarships. She's going to give us a workshop on the new NSCS scholarship portal that was just recently launched. After Jen's presentation, we will discuss chapter updates, service activities, and maybe even possibly some professional development ideas for future webinars. All right, now it's time to meet your leadership. Before I go on to the next slide, I just wanted to let you know that due to conflicting schedules, our leadership wasn't able to attend, except for myself. So I am your chapter president and co-vice president of social media. My name, again, is Courtney Pomeran. Our executive vice president is, Mike Lovell. He unfortunately has not been able to attend today. Our chapter secretary is Amber Fritz. Our VP of Community Service and co-VP of Social Media is Lori Watson. Our VP of Public Relations and Member Recruitment is Christopher Luther. And our chapter advisor is Chelsea. All right, And without further ado, I will hand the rings over to our special guest, Jen Castillo. As I said, she is a senior manager for the scholarships of NSCS. We are so happy that she was able to join us and do this presentation and teach us a little bit of how to get registered for the scholarship portal, how to apply for the scholarships that are exclusively for our NSCS members. Right. And I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and Jen, you can take over.
All right. Thank you so much, Courtney. And thanks so much for having me today. I'm really excited about sharing some of my scholarship pointers and tips for applying for scholarships. As you guys may know, scholarships are probably one of the top reasons most members join NSCS. With scholarships, it hopefully will help pay down some of the student debt that some of our students incur while they're going to school. I mean, school is not cheap. It is expensive out there. So NSCS really does want to help you help you pay for school, and we offer member exclusive scholarships. And today I'm going to walk you through our process of applying for scholarships, because we have a new portal. And I don't know if you've tried it out yet, but it's really fantastic. It's much better than our last system that we were using. So if you use the old system through Academic Works, this is much, much easier to use, and I think you're going to love it. So I'm going to share my screen now and just show you where you're going to go to apply for a scholarship. Do that really quickly. Okay. So hopefully you can see the screen now, but the website you're going to go to apply for scholarships is right here up on top. And so you want to write this down, keep it, and make sure that you have it handy whenever you're going to be looking for scholarship opportunities. This is where you want to go. This is where you'll go to look at what's available and apply for scholarships. So the website is nscs.awardspring.com. So when you get to this main page, if this is the first time you're coming here, you're going to need to register. So even if you had an account with us before, you're going to need to register again. So it's pretty simple. You're going to drop down to the very bottom, and you're going to hit this button to register. And it's a pretty simple process. You'll have to put in an email. It doesn't have to be any specific email that's associated with your NSCS account like before. We don't do any sort of matching anymore, which was a lot of the problem before. So this, you can use whatever email you think is easiest for you. If it's your school email, if it's your personal email, it doesn't matter, as long as it's something that you're going to remember, because you're going to be using it to log in. So it's your email, first name, last name. You're going to have to come up with a password, as with any account you register for. So make sure it's something you remember, and then you create an account. So once that is done, and even before you log in, you can always come over here to the side to check out what's available. So you don't even have to log in to see what's offered through our scholarship program. So this is a listing of all our scholarships, and you can see we have some information here already. So you can kind of like start to plan out all the scholarships you're going to apply for, because with NSCS, we don't care if you apply for all of our scholarships or you want to apply for 10, whatever it is, but we encourage you to apply for scholarships that you're qualified for. So here are the deadlines, application dates. So you can, like I said, start making a calendar so you don't miss any opportunities. These are the deadlines here to make it easy. You can take a quick look, run down, and see when things are due, see what the award amount is. So the Inspire Integrity Award is worth $1,000. If you want to read about it, you click on it, and you can read about what's involved with the scholarship. But to apply, and you can see the qualifications here, they're very minimal. You just have to be an NSCS member. You have to have a 3.0 GPA. So each one of these will have all of those details before you even log in. If you want to just get started and, want to see what's available before you get started. For this one, it's a very specific award. So again, read the qualifications. this one, you have to be the first in your family to attend college to qualify. So this one's a little more specific. So just getting an idea of what might be available for you. So I've already made an account, so now I'm just gonna sign in. I'm gonna sign in, I put my information, it's already saved because I've done this many times before. So this is actually the administrative view, but I'm gonna log in as a student so you can kind of see what a student will see to get a better idea here. So let me just sign in as the student just to kind of get an idea of what you're gonna see. So this will be what view you're gonna have when you sign into your portal. You're gonna have, it's gonna say welcome, your first name, and then you're gonna have scholarships here, and it's gonna be very similar. So you're gonna, basically start off by filling out a general application. That's gonna be step one. And when you log in, it's gonna prompt you to do this first. So you're gonna fill out all the general information here. Are you a member? Yes. You're gonna put in whether you're a current member, alumni member, if you just joined. It's gonna have all those general questions, what school you go to, if you're at a community college, all those general questions. And then once that's complete, you'll go to the scholarship section and it'll tell you based on how you answered those questions, what scholarships you're qualified for. So for this student, he may not be qualified for the First in the Family Award or the Induction Recognition Award, but he is qualified for all of these other scholarships that are currently open. So he could start up and it says complete follow-up. So that means that if he wants to apply for the scholarship, he still needs to complete something. So he would click here, and that's usually an essay question that's involved. So that's where you're gonna go to complete the application. So it's very simple. It kind of helps you see what you should apply for so you don't apply for something you don't qualify for and waste your time and get frustrated. But it's also really helpful to keep everything in one place. But you don't want to miss opportunities. So that's why I think it's really important to take a look at the due dates, because you're going to fill out that general application the very first time you set up your account. But some of these aren't going to open till like February or March or later on in the spring semester. So you'll need to come back in here. And if you're qualified, you'll have to come in and complete the application, which, like I said, is always an essay. So you don't want to miss out on those opportunities. So that's basically how you apply through the new system. And it works very similar to how it did before. Our scholarships are generally open for about 2 months, and then the scholarship will close. We start the review process. The review process happens within the system, and we use a scoring rubric that is scored by our scholarship volunteer reviewers. And it's always 2 rounds of reviews, and it takes about 8 to 10 weeks because there are separate rounds of reviews, which kind of take a little while, but we want to make sure that we're giving enough time for our reviewers to take a good look at your essays and all of the qualifications before we make decisions. And then we send out emails to everybody who applied. So if you didn't get a scholarship, if you did get a scholarship, you will hear back from us. Sometimes our emails can end up in spam, and so we don't want you to miss that opportunity to know how you did on the essays or how whether you got a scholarship or not, because we know it's really terrible not to hear back. So in this new system, it's really great. In the dashboard, you will be able to see if you were denied a scholarship or awarded a scholarship after it closes. So in this section, you'll have that information too. So in addition to getting emails, you can also go here to see what the information is about scholarships that you've applied for and have been reviewed already. So that is the general explanation of how the new system works. We hope you like it. Like I said, I think it's going to be so much better to know ahead of time what you should be applying for. Everything's going to be nice and neat in one area. You can always come back in here and finish up anything. Like I said, these are the 3 scholarships the student is qualified for, so they can go in here and complete the application and hopefully get a scholarship, because that is our goal, is to award our students and help them finish their college without as much debt as, hopefully they started. And one scholarship that I think that could be really helpful for you, for students at APU, is a military service award. So this is currently open and it closes in February, but this is for any student who is currently in the military or served in the military, active duty, or a military veteran student. It's a really great opportunity, and I encourage students to take advantage of this scholarship. We give out 5 $1,000 scholarships to outstanding students who exemplify the spirit of military service. So wanted to make sure that students saw that opportunity as well. And it's a really great opportunity, and I hope you apply. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it back over to Courtney. And Courtney or Lori, if anybody has any questions about the new system, I'm happy to answer them while we have some time.
Well, thank you, Jen. I really appreciate this presentation. It is so much easier than the old system, especially since we can put in whatever email addresses we want on there. So that's pretty cool that that happens. Now, these scholarships, are they specifically for undergraduate students only?
So we do have some scholarships that are for our alumni members too. You'll see those more in the spring. We have the Debt Reduction Award and the Geico Graduate Award. And those are for any alumni members who are going off to graduate school, and also students who are already graduated and want to just pay down debt. And then we have other scholarships for community college students who are just going for their associate's degree. So lots of different options.
That's great. That's awesome. Do you have any advice for individuals who want to stand out during their application process for these scholarships? For example, word count. Some of these scholarships, myself included, I've applied to a few of them myself, where there was a limitation, and if you want to stand out in those scholarships with a word limitation, what is your best suggestion for those individuals?
So my suggestion is you want to try to tell a story whenever you can, because our scholarship reviewers are reading so many applications, and you want to try to make sure that they get to know you in the process of these essays. So if there's a way that you can tell a story, or, if you're answering a question of the essay, but in the process, like, make a story about it. Or, that one time I was trying to make a decision about my major, and, I went to this, STEM, I went to this workshop on STEM, and that's when I realized that this was, the major I wanted to go into. And you tell a story about that workshop, and, it's just going to be a little more memorable for that review committee when they can kind of get to know you a little in the process, instead of it just being like, I really like STEM, right? Like, they just have a better understanding of why you like it and get to know you, and, what you were thinking about your process, or, or maybe it's a cute story about, like, when you decided to become an NSCS member and when you got your invitation and how excited you were. Whatever it is, whenever it makes sense to tell a story, an anecdote, I recommend trying to work that into the essay, so it doesn't sound like you're writing a term paper, right? Like, you don't want it to sound like this is something you give to your professor. So that's one of my main pieces of advice, is to try to do that. Like, make your, and also, like, a lot of students are going to be telling the same story, so make your story unique in a way. So, I mean, be honest and, authentic in the process, but, like, think of ways that you can tell your story in the process.
Have we ever had members who tied?
Yes,
for example, there's only one winner and there's members that tied.
Yes, and so this is where it's really important to think about, when you want to proofread, right? Because, like, we're not going to, like, deduct points just because you had a spelling error or a grammatical error. But if it comes down to 2 really great essays in the finalist round, and we have to make a decision somewhere, it could be that one student really went the extra mile and like made sure their essay was perfect and there were no grammatical errors and there were no spelling mistakes, and the other one had a couple, and it could be something like that, right? Like, and it's a shame, but sometimes we have to make decisions based on simple things like that.
Out of curiosity, are members able to be rewarded multiple different times, or is it a one time you win a scholarship and that's it?
So most of our scholarships they're not renewable scholarships. So that means you always have to apply year to year. But we've had students who have won multiple scholarships. Many students who have won 3 or 4 scholarships. And mainly that's just because, they're really great at applying. Like, they have a system, right? Like, they work really hard on their essays. They're very, engaged in the community or as leaders. I mean, because that's another thing we look for is like how you embody the pillars of NSCS, because that's really important to us too. If you can show us how you're a leader at your school or in your community, if you give back, that's important to us. Service is important. So if you can work that into your essays, like, that shows us that you're the type of person that we're looking for.
Awesome.
So I think, when you see people who have won multiples, because, they're obviously like
good at writing,
good at writing,
good at telling stories.
They're good at telling stories. They got somebody to proofread their stuff. Like, they're on it.
That's
so yeah, there's definitely some students who have won multiples, and we encourage.
My follow-up question is the deadlines for the time frame to wait to find out if you got the scholarship or not. Mm-hmm. And you said it was anywhere between 8 to 10 weeks to go through the review process. And is that from the date of closing? So the deadline.
That's a good question. Yeah. Okay. So we can't start the review in our system until it actually closes.
Okay.
And so it will be, so if you're a person that starts early and gets their application in early, we admire that, but unfortunately we can't start the review until the last day, until it actually closes.
So it's kind of good to wait to the last minute for these.
Yeah, so, and that's what's great about these systems, these online systems, is you can go back in and keep like editing it and, working on it and, revising it as long as you want, as long as you press apply by that deadline, you can keep working on it until the last minute. That's fine with us, because that shows that you're probably, not waiting till the last minute. And because we can probably tell if you wrote that essay like the night before. It's probably not going to be that great.
Very true. Well, I don't have any other questions for you. It is actually a lot simpler to use the new system, the new portal, than the previous one. I mean, the previous one wasn't that difficult, but it was to certain aspects when it came to remembering what email you registered with when you originally got on, became a member and things like that. So that is one good benefit. And I actually like the template of how it's set up right now. Yeah, it's a little bit easier to know, okay, I'm not done finishing this, I can go ahead and finish it and edit and whatnot. So I don't have any other questions. Lori, do you have a question in regards to it? I don't know if you can come on mic or not. You're muted, Lori.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. No, I'd actually never registered for the one previously. So I just went through and registered when you were explaining everything. And it was super easy to fill out.
Good.
And that's what I'm going through all of the scholarships right now. I know I hopped on a couple minutes late. But as soon as you started explaining, I tried to go through. So I've already got everything completed, and it's, pulled up 4 scholarships already that it says I'm eligible for.
Wonderful.
To do the follow-ups. So fingers crossed.
I have my fingers crossed for you. And whatever, if you ever have any questions specifically about scholarships, you can always email me. I'm happy to help. But yeah, I think as many scholarships as you can apply for, the more you can apply for, the better odds you have. So
Yeah.
I think that's always a good thing.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm going to try to apply for a few of these because since
Great.
I've been at AMU, I've had FAFSA and like the Pell Grant, and I had to do some like of the government student loans. But when I
Mhm.
was in medic school, I got a scholarship through the Virginia. It was the Virginia Department of Health and Virginia Office of Emergency Medical Services, or whatever OEMS is. And so that really helped as far as, because my books were like $1,200
Oh
a
my
year or
gosh,
something.
that's expensive. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
And then, I needed so much more stuff, stethoscopes and shears and uniforms. So thankfully, like, I don't have all those same associated costs.
Mhm.
But I know one of the biggest things that I found with AMU, the one thing that drives me nuts is I don't like reading the books online
Mhm.
because I don't feel like I retain it as well from online.
We're online students for convenience, but we can't stand reading on
Yeah.
the computer.
I know,
We
it's
need to have these
hard.
books in our hands.
I don't
Yeah.
blame you. I think I would be the same way. Like I love my physical books. I can't read on a Kindle or anything like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
get it.
I'm trying to find like the cheapest copies of the textbooks that I can, or I'm
Yeah.
printing them out. And I mean, it's not much initially, but like the binders, and because I have to organize them and like put all the different chapter dividers in. And so, you start adding that stuff in, and like I had to get a new laptop because my screen got broke. It's little stuff that kind of adds up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
excuse me.
Definitely.
I definitely hope that, you get one of our scholarships, because I know scholarships that we give out can be used for things like books or, room and board, whatever you think is helpful. It doesn't have to go directly to tuition. We can work with you and, get you the funds to whatever is helpful.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for being a part of our first general body of the semester on that. Actually, the semester is ending, so yeah, so I appreciate that. And thank you for giving us a little bit more insight and details into applying for scholarships and how to get registered for the site, because I'm sure there's a lot of members that aren't registered yet. So and once they see that
Sure.
it's this simple,
Yeah.
they'll go ahead and do it.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for having me. And if you have any other questions, you can always reach out. Thank you.
Yes, and her email is in the chat box
Thank
if
you.
you guys need it, and you can also locate it on the main page of NSCS website. And you'll just click on the About Me section, and you can meet the team, and she's right there along with all of the other NSCS staff members.
Great. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so we'll go ahead and continue on with our general body meeting. Go ahead, click on over, go back to full screen. Probably have to go back through the rest of the slides. All right, so coming into our chapter events and service activities for the month, or the remaining month of December. December is the month of giving. So with that, we are trying to figure out ways that we can do virtual giving in a good sense where it's not always technically financial. The Alzheimer's Association has a wonderful opportunity for us virtual members to write letters to individuals who are suffering from Alzheimer's disease or dementia all month long. You can visit their website at alz.org and locate how to get involved when it comes to writing letters to individuals suffering from the disease. On Saturday, December 18th, we are going to be participating with the AMU APUS school, and with Wreaths Across America. Actually, technically, about a couple hours ago, the AMU tractor trailer posted on the Instagram account that they have picked up all the wreaths and are heading down to their final destination in Georgia. to drop off those wreaths. You can still register to volunteer or even to sponsor a wreath in your name, your family's name, or even the chapter's name. I believe they are as cheap as $5, and you can go further and further up. If you're interested in, if you are attending already and you are registered already, please take pictures and send them to us to our email at apus.nscs@gmail.com. We would love to showcase your volunteering services in our next newsletter for January. Also, if you are volunteering, please don't forget to report your service to the APUS reporting forum. You can find a link for that in our newsletter. We will be taking a winter break this year. We've had a lot of activities, and we've decided that it's a great idea to just take the rest of the month off until we will return. I believe it is January 4th. NSCS itself from the national level will be also taking their winter break during that session. So we will be occasionally posting to our social media accounts, but other than that, we don't have any other events after the 21st. I know it says the 19th, but we added one more in for the Alzheimer's Association for winter solstice, which is so far our highest registration event so far. So we're looking very forward for that little 15-minute window of shining out the darkness of Alzheimer's. January, for the events for coming up for January, January is mentoring month. With that, we will be doing a lot of projects when it comes to getting involved as mentors and mentees. And NSCS also has some exciting features within the Scholar Central portal regarding their mentoring program. So if you haven't checked it out, please visit Scholar Central and apply for that mentoring programs. We will continue to we will be conducting a community service project with future organizations. We haven't quite decided which one we want to launch for January, but if you have any in mind, please let us know. You can always email us or comment on one of the postings of one of our social media platforms. Professional development, we need your input. We had an amazing professional development experience with our Scholar Central sessions and with Master Gunnery Sergeant Steve Cotwer. However, we would like to know what kind of mentoring, or excuse me, what kind of professional development webinars you guys are interested in. What do you think that you would need improvement in? Do you need help with resume building? Would you like to see a presentation on that? Or getting your LinkedIn profile all set up? Or whatever the idea you have for professional development or you would like to learn more on, please let us know. We are currently going off of what we think you guys would like, but your input is greatly appreciated. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us for our December general body meeting. And if we don't have any questions, I will go ahead and stop sharing the screen. And we don't have any questions. So with that, we will send you all off. And thank you again for joining us for this great presentation by Jen. And we look forward to seeing you all in the 2022 school year. Bye, everyone.